Alrighty, welcome back everyone. We just did a little bit of a fall camp update, some injuries happening all around the country, and some different things that definitely will keep you updated on throughout this week as we head into the very first week of college football. But let's get into a little bit of a recruiting update. And Tennessee has been on an absolute tear, and we will get to them throughout this segment, but I want to start up in Iowa, and they got a huge commitment from Iowasi Epinesa. Definitely a very talented edge rusher, someone that is going to be an absolute beast because I saw his brother be an absolute beast in those same exact colors. So he is the brother of AJ, the guy that is, I believe, currently with the Bills. Could have moved around, but I think he's with the Bills right now. He's ranked the number 3 defensive lineman in the 2025 class. This kid is remarkable, and he's definitely someone that Iowa very much wanted, and they were trailing for quite some time behind Penn State and Utah. They were able to pull it out, and I'm sure AJ is very pumped for this decision. So another Epinesa brother finding his way to Iowa, and we'll see if he can tear it up the same way AJ did. Moving on, we got Ben Hanks Jr., and he is committed to Florida. We talked about him last week, and there was very little world where he wasn't a Florida Gator, and now he is. He is the son of the former All-SEC linebacker Ben Hanks Jr., or Ben Hanks Sr., obviously not Jr., but first of all, if he's anything like his dad, Florida fans are going to love this kid, plain and simple. But this is a very athletic, long cornerback that is going to be pretty much an immediate contributor for this team. I think they do have some good players on that back end, but they're still building it out. They're still making sure that they have the top level athletes that they're capable of having there, and I think this guy at the very least will be a rotational piece in 2025 for them. Moving on, 4-star running back Shakai Mills-Knight has committed to Ole Miss. This guy is a bruiser. He is 6'2", 220, and this is kind of the running back that I was waiting for Lane Kiffin to get. He loves those speedster guys. He loves the Ulysses Bentleys of the world, and I totally understand that. Frankly, I love those guys too. But at the end of the day, having that guy that can run in between the tackles is a huge deal, and this is exactly going to be that guy. A huge player, and a lot of running backs might just find their way out of the program with some transfer portal stuff that could be happening with all of the running backs they have there, and a couple of guys moving on to the next level. This could be definitely a supplementary piece in 2025 for sure, and might just inform another decision that we'll talk about a little bit later. Moving on to LSU, they picked up a pair of big-time commitments, and it started with Mike Tyler, the very talented tight end that is 6'4", 230. He is exactly what you want at the tight end. He was, they got him over Duke and West Virginia, so might just be a little bit of a evaluation type piece where maybe he's not as highly rated as LSU thinks he should be. So definitely something to watch there. But overall, they love big bodies over at LSU. They love, especially at tight end, when you have a guy like Tyler coming in and then you have Kamarian Pimpton already on the team. It could be a scary duo, that is for sure. No doubt about that. But moving on to the other one they were able to flip Cade Phillips from Texas to LSU. This is a very talented cornerback. Might play safety at the next level, but definitely something to watch there. A top 65 recruit, number 7 cornerback in the country. Exactly what LSU needed right now. And frankly, on the other side, Texas is really struggling to recruit elite cornerbacks. They very much need them at this point in time, and right now, Terry Joseph, who is the cornerback coach over there, is going in this year a little bit on the hot seat, but definitely something to watch. They only have one corner in this class right now, and it's Caleb Chester. So definitely something to watch for that team, and they need to get something going, especially at that position. 4-star Bryce Fitzgerald has committed to Miami. A very talented safety, very long. It's someone that can absolutely help in coverage over the back end, and someone they very much needed. And they've done a really good job rebuilding this secondary, this class, where you have guys like Hilton Stubbs, Jabari Antoine, and Fitzgerald. They're 3 of the top 4 guys in this class, and this is a very good class. So absolutely has been a priority for them, and definitely needs to be as they head into this season. They got another commitment, though, from Micah Newton. He actually flipped from NC State, so a huge commitment there. Definitely one that they wanted to get in the fold. 6'2", 263, definitely someone that absolutely has shined a number of different places. Was on varsity for 3 years, 27 career tackles, 47 tackles for loss. Definitely will likely be an interior guy at the next level, but is a huge piece. Likely a little bit more developmental, but definitely a very good player that could become an absolute beast for Miami. Jaden Harmon is another one I want to talk about. Another flip in this last weekend from Alabama to Tennessee. This is a 6'1", 215 linebacker. Very, very talented guy. Someone that he's been committed to Alabama for quite some time, since April. So definitely a big-time pickup for Tennessee. And they continue to put together a really good defensive class over there and continue to do just really special things overall on the recruiting trail if you're Tennessee. And it didn't stop there. This was the big-time commitment of the weekend. David Sanders Jr. committed to Tennessee, a 5-star offensive tackle, the number 1 offensive tackle in the country, 6'6", 290 offensive tackle out of Charlotte, North Carolina. This was a very weird recruitment. It started where it was all Clemson. Everyone felt like that was pretty confident. Then all the energy moved over to Georgia, and it felt like Georgia was going to be the one that took him home. They were going to be the one that had him on the roster. Then there was a little bit of Nebraska buzz. Ohio State got to get on the mix, and then Tennessee finally was able to lock him up. So definitely a huge pickup for them, and definitely a guy that, frankly, they're likely going to have to do some shuffling on that offensive line after this year. If in the future they have a tackle duo of him and Zalance Hurd, it's going to be a mean duo, I can tell you that with absolute confidence. So definitely something to watch there. But moving on to some scheduled commitments and some intel on those as we get into the next little bit. Akeelan Deer is someone I want to talk about and relates to that running back commit for Ole Miss, that we talked about a little bit earlier. This is the number 2 running back in the class, a very, very talented kid. He decommitted from Ole Miss, and it looks like it's going to be all Alabama in this one. He's making his decision tomorrow, so definitely be on the lookout for that. Mississippi State is also in the top 3, but right now it looks like it's Bama. Maybe a distant second is Ole Miss, and then Mississippi State right there. But overall, this is likely going to be Bama. I'd be honestly surprised if it was anyone else, frankly. Andrew Marsh is also another one to watch. He is coming up tomorrow as well, so definitely one to keep an eye out on. It looks like It looks like it is going to be Michigan. It looks like that is going to be the team that ends up getting his services, and I've talked about this a lot on the show, but they need speedsters, and this is a guy that can really go. So definitely will open up that offense quite a bit, and definitely something that they very much need in that offense. So it would be a huge commitment there. And then let's get into pretty much just talking about Texas here for a second. Nick Brooks is a 4-star offensive tackle out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Very talented guy, someone that, along with Michael Fasusi coming up at the end of the month, are the big-time commitments here, or Michael Fasusi's coming up very soon, on Wednesday, actually, are the big-time commitments here. But he's down to 3 teams, Georgia, Texas, and USC. It sounds like it's going to be Texas. It was a Texas UGA battle for quite some time. USC kind of came into the mix a little bit later on in the process, but I do think it's going to be Texas. Has gotten a number of predictions there, and I'd lean that direction as we get a little bit closer to his date of committing. And then Aiden Anding is someone I want you to watch because right now he's set to commit on August 24th. He's a very talented, lengthy corner that they likely need to build up a little bit from the 170 that he's at right now, but still has plenty of area for improvement. He's between Arkansas, LSU, and Texas. It sounds like LSU might have the inside track here, but with the commitment from Cade Phillips to play possibly corner, maybe safety there, I think it could be that Texas might win out on this one. I think Texas is definitely going to be pushing a lot of energy into this one, and I think when you look at their state of their cornerback committing right now, they need it really, really badly. So if they don't get it, you might have a problem. If LSU gets it, they're putting together a ridiculous secondary class. But at the end of the day, this is one Texas very much needs, and if they can't get it, then it's going to be an interesting conversation around Terry Joseph as we head into this season. But Michael Fasusi is someone to watch as well, another top offensive tackle commit, and he's committing on Wednesday, as we talked about. This one is Oklahoma's to lose at this point. There was a while where it looked like a 3-horse race and everyone was just jockeying for position. Oklahoma's kind of pulled away. I think they're going to be the team that gets his services, and as of right now, I think if Texas gets Nick Brooks, if A&M, I think they have a number of other feelers out there, but they all wanted this guy bad. I can promise you that. So Oklahoma's getting a huge player, and one that, frankly, I'd be shocked if he was not a first-year starter with all of the offensive line troubles they have up there. So definitely something to watch, a very talented player, and one that Oklahoma, if they can pull him in, then it would be absolutely huge. Another one that has become a Texas OU A&M battle is Jonah Williams. And this is one definitely to watch down the stretch, one that I think could get a little bit closer. Oregon's also in on this one, definitely a team to watch here. But as of right now, the Longhorns are getting more and more buzz as we get closer to this thing. More and more crystal balls and predictions are coming in for Texas to get Jonah Williams. And frankly, I think baseball has a huge part to play in this. This is a very talented baseball player, and Texas just hired a coach that just played in the national title. So that definitely does help you a little bit. I do think Texas might just win this one out, and that would be a huge help to a back-end class that does not look very great for the Longhorns. So that'll be an interesting one to watch. And frankly, overall, I think Texas is the team to watch this entire month. Throughout the rest of this month, whether it's Nick Brooks or Jonah Williams or Jamie French, we didn't even talk about, but it seems like he's leaning even more in that direction. So they could have 3 5-stars commit this month in Jonah Williams, Jamie French, and already committed Khalil Lockett. They could add Nick Brooks to the conversation. So this is a group that, didn't necessarily have the start to the month that they wanted with losing Cade Phillips and losing some of the players that they have throughout the last little bit. But they can still have a remarkable month and set them off on just a remarkable class this upcoming year. So definitely something to watch. I think this is going to be a very, very incredible month where a lot of movement is going to happen. You're going to figure out which teams are really going to cement themselves at the very top of the list and which teams might fade a little bit throughout the year. But at the end of the day, we all know that none of this really matters until pen's to paper. None of this really matters until we really get that guy on record saying, I'm going to this school, and it is in writing. But at the end of the day, definitely some big time things happening around recruiting, and we'll keep you updated. Probably a little bit less as football comes around, obviously, but definitely some big time recruitments that we will definitely let you know what happens with those as they happen. But that'll do it for this edition of the GSMC College Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to subscribe to the show, leave a positive review. It does make a huge difference. Also, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all of the social pages for all of the content and updates you could possibly want. We have really incredible people doing really awesome work across every single sport you could want. So anything you need in the world of sports, we totally have you covered over here at GSMC. But thank you once again for listening, and I will see you guys tomorrow.